Hey, today I have a special guest star. He's a world traveler. He's been traveling for over 17 years, got over 1,100 videos, and he's been in more than 70 countries. You may know him, and if you don't, well, you'll know him after the end of this video. Check it out.
This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today I'm lucky to have a friend of mine, Kelly, from Autumn in Asia.
Autumn in Asia.
Channel. Kelly?
Yeah. It's an honor meeting you, man.
I know, it's great meeting you.
It's been 5 years, man.
Yeah. And we're in Siem Reap, Cambodia.
Yep.
So, Kelly, how have you been since I interviewed you last?
I've been good. Been doing, just kicking out videos and trying to travel a little bit more. Just, living the day, enjoying my autumn years.
Living the dream.
And that's actually why I named it Autumn in Asia. 2 reasons. Because I'm in my autumn years, kind of ish,
Yeah.
And also that opens up to where it's not like Kelly in Cambodia. I mean, I can, anywhere's in Asia, I can.
Autumn will go anywhere in the world.
Including Mexico. Puerto Escondido.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So normally my videos, I have like a set of questions I ask, so I thought it would just be fun to shoot the breeze. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I rarely see covered on these interviews is I don't know, more of what the difference is from life, if you will, in your home country and overseas. And I think of my dad. My dad retired at 73, and he lived for about 5 more years.
Yeah.
And he pretty much just sat down in front of the TV and watched TV until his last 5 years. And I'm not saying that all retirees do that back in the home country, but I see this as like, I don't know, every day when I wake up in the morning, I'm experiencing something, unique, interesting, fascinating. It's like my whole life has become a learning experience, and it can be exciting, it can be boring, it can be everything, but it's not just the same thing every day,
Yeah. Well, you're saying that, a lot of people retire and just sit in front of the TV for 5 years and wait to die. Even expats, I see expats coming over here, and the only difference is instead of sitting in front of the TV, they're sitting in front of a cold mug of beer, and
right,
I see it a lot. I've talked to people, acquaintances of mine, kind of the same way, they don't do nothing.
Yeah, that's right. They're babysitting a bar stool somewhere.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I like to make videos, because it gives me something to do to keep me out of the bars. But it also, making videos is not as easy as it seems to be. Especially for YouTube, it's an art and a science, so that really keeps my mind occupied and going, and I'm always learning. So, I'm not just sitting in front of my computer screen. Well, I am, but you know what I mean.
Not just.
No, a lot of thinking. Yeah.
There's a YouTube video on some famous doctor that does the channel about how people get bored and they're starting in their 2nd year of retirement, and that you kind of have to figure out some reason they get up in the morning rather than feed the cats or whatever. I think that's true. I think if you figure out something to get up in the morning for, it makes a big difference in your life.
Yeah, I'm a staunch believer. Most of my life, it's very important to have a hobby. And if you're getting ready to retire, whether you're going to stay, in your home country or come to become an expat, think of something that you can do, a hobby, something that you like. If you like wood carving or even reading books or riding, bicycle. There's a lot of clubs. You really got to have to prepare for retirement, not just do it and then all of a sudden, it's like a culture shock.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Now what the hell do I do,
Yeah, people associate their very existence with the job they had when they were working.
Yeah.
And if they were working a lot of hours, suddenly they have all this free time and they don't know what to do with it, and you can get stuck in that rut. If you have to kind of stick your head up and look around and say, is there a world around me and what can I do in it? That you would both enjoy and that maybe gives you some challenge or some something, you know, where you feel like you have some purpose, I think.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I think they also don't realize that the resources that they have, that it's kind of out of the box. Just an example, okay? If you're a teacher and you retire, okay, just about any school I know in the United States would love for you to come to be an art docent, or just come and help out and be the playground lady. Stop. Anything. I mean, and if your job that you had, your career, you know, has anything like that, you know, just, you don't have to do it full time. You do it 1-2 days out of the week, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to keep on keeping on. Just not just vegetate, because that's not good for you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not good for you.
Yeah, and for me, that it's like you. It's been doing the YouTube videos. Because, you know, when I first started, I thought, you know, this would be a way I could make a little extra money. But what I found out is the money's, although it just keeps somehow increasing, the money hasn't really been. It's not really my motivation anymore. The motivation now is people watch the videos, they find out about a new place, they see a new possibility for their life, and they start asking questions. And I interact with them in the comments, and then, you know, eventually some of them take my Retire Overseas course, or get my free ebook, or you know, or whatever, and I interact with them more, and then over time they start to tell me their stories about how they ended up where they are, and that I played some minor role in that, and so it makes me feel like I'm, you know, just by showing my life and showing what I've learned, it allows someone like my dad to see that there's a possibility other than sitting on the couch.
And if you're lucky, you end up meeting them.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of them turned out to be highlights. Like, certainly meeting you, it's really been a highlight, Kelly. You know, another thing I don't see talked about much online, is people wonder what happens as I age. You know, if I'm not in my home country, what does aging look like when I start to lose mobility or whatever? I've done videos about how in Southeast Asia they have assisted living and that kind of thing, but I think some people just have a fear. If I'm in my home country, I know what happened to my uncle or my parents, but what happens when you're in one of these countries like this? Have you given much thought to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, because, for instance, if you accept let's say, I'm talking about Cambodia here. If you accept a Khmer family, if you have a Khmer girlfriend, or Khmer wife, or whatever, a Khmer significant other, and their family likes you and stuff, and they will take care of you. You know, I mean, after they get to know you a few years, you know, you'll never be a Khmer, but you can be part of the family. You know, and I know a lot of people out there, if I may say so. A lot of people say, yeah, as long as the money comes in. No, that's not always true. That you got the wrong girlfriend then, you know.
You missed the boat.
Yeah. You went out looking. You didn't wait for it. You know, you don't have to be, you know, wealthy. You just, you know, like I said, be accepted by families, and you know, I mean, if you've been with the same, you know, spouse for, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, you know, you've created a bond not only with your spouse, but also with their family, and that's kind of a retirement plan in itself. When you need help in the morning to get up and things like that, I think they're very loyal in that respect.
There's something hidden in what you're saying now that I think needs to be brought out, and that's this idea of some people come to Southeast Asia and they get involved in these transactional relationships, and they end up with someone maybe who's not in alignment, or that's maybe not as sincere with them as a person. They're seen more as an ATM or whatever. And what you said, if you found the wrong person, and so I think there's, if you're thinking about a long-term relationship and you want to develop that, I think there's I don't know, you look for more of a real person rather than a transactional relationship, and that sort of shows up naturally in your life rather than, I don't know, maybe on a bar stool where you're, you know, the ladies of the evening are visiting you and it's more transactional.
Yeah. I don't go to the bars, and that's why I've said a few times in my videos and stuff. You know, if you're looking for a girlfriend, your chances are very good that you're going to be not happy in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, if you let it happen, that's a different story. Not saying that it doesn't have to be a bar girl. It could. But you know, and I'm not saying go to the library and start picking up on the librarians either. Just let it happen, and it will happen.
Yeah. It was the same with Chung. She was. We met online on an app, but I don't think either of us had an expectation of a relationship, and we dated really for about a year before we were really serious. And she started traveling with me, and I think it was just because it was just sort of a natural forming relationship that happened over time. So
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that gets back to this your point that in Southeast Asia, older people are still valued, if you will. They're not seen. It seems like to me, maybe in the West, our older people are not as, I don't know, appreciated, or they're not seen as wisdom. They're seen as something less than that, maybe. And I get a sense here that when you see old people, the way they're treated socially here is a little bit higher level. I think they're appreciated for their wisdom and
absolutely, absolutely, So you'll see. I mean, the children are raised, to respect their elders, not just their, not their parents. Well, of course, their parents, not just their parents and grandparents, but anybody that's older, they'll show respect. When I go back to the States and some of my daughter's friends or whatever, people will ask me these questions. Well, how about the children? How's that? And I'm going, are you a parent? Yes. I said, I will make you mad by saying what my observations were on how the children are here in Cambodia and elsewhere, even Thailand. I know that's the ones I can relate to. I can't really talk about Vietnam because I've never been there, but it's. Yeah, I got to be careful what you say sometimes, to mom. Yeah, your kids are brats, and I mean, how many times you got to wake up your kid, tell them to go to school, No, I mean, that's the one thing that surprises me with their children. You ask them to do something, and it's not like, No, okay. I mean, seriously, they respect you. They listen to you, and I don't want to get in trouble for that. It doesn't matter. It's just the truth.
I should let you jump in once in a while.
You're doing good. I'll just edit you out.
So another thing people seem to have is when they're sitting in their home country is they have this fear of money. Like they don't know how much they're going to need, and they don't, they know where they're sitting and what it looks like, but when they go somewhere else, they're like, well, they'll have enough, will someone try to steal it, and it's natural, right? The human mind is there to protect, and so you try to, often think worst case scenarios and try to work your way through each event and how you would get around that problem, if ever you will. But so there's kind of a fear you have about money then, before you come over, and then there's now, what really happened. What are your thoughts about that, like the surrounding money? Like, did you have fears about it? And when you ended up here, how did it turn out different?
I had no fears about it because I did my due diligence.
Okay.
I've known people that came here, really didn't plan all that well, and they're in a dire straight situation. And they didn't get their banking system set up. Thank you. You helped me on that one. Cool. You just have to prepare. Okay. I just did a video a couple weeks ago. It was my monthly budget for the first of the year, for January, and it's still about $900. And I've got a beautiful place. Check out the video.
I'm in Asia.
And I mean, I don't starve. I mean, I have everything I need. except I have everything I need that I had in the United States except the cost. I'll give you an example on that. Oh, my internet's costing me, $80 a month. Well, mine's free, unless I want it on my cell phone, and then it costs me $6 a month. I mean,
Crazy.
Yeah. So no, I didn't worry about it. I knew approximately how much I was going to make, what my resources were, probably 5 years before I retired, and it just it worked out. It do your due diligence and work with what you have. Don't live beyond your means. Because you really don't have to. That's a choice.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a choice how you, okay, if you want, okay, this is what I'm going to have when I retire at the age of whatever, and how can I get the best bang out of my buck?
And what's important to you?
Yeah.
If it's sticking in the States and working or wherever your home country is, and work until 70 so you can buy whatever vehicle and have a pool in the backyard or whatever, all the power to you. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But if you, there's other options, I think is the point.
Yeah.
If you know what those are and investigate them and take the time to do the due diligence.
Well, it's kind of like a saying that I have. It's, I'm making my own paradise with what I have. Yeah.
That's the best kind of paradise. I think we have a tendency in the West to look around and say, I want their paradise, I want her paradise, I want his paradise.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that with my parents. John, Gladys just got a new car. And ours is 5 years old.
Yeah.
Dad just goes, oh, geez.
Yeah, it's all about priorities.
Oh, yeah. And that's a lot. You want to impress people that really don't give a shit about you anyways.
Yeah.
And that's generally what it is.
Yeah, when I figured out who, at least for me, it's not for everybody, but when I figured out what was important to me, I was driving what my stepson would call a hoopty, which is like a beater car, because I was taking that money and putting it somewhere that it could help in the future instead of trying to impress my neighbors or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone, but for me, I think it was okay. I was comfortable in that car. I was comfortable in that life, and it gave me this life, making choices like that. And I think it applies over here too. I mean, there are expats all over the world. They show up and I call it, they want to be the big man on campus. They want to buy the round of drinks, they want to drive the fancy car or live in the big house, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have the resources. And we all have what we think is important, and we all are, but you have to think about how long can you sustain that. If you have the resources to sustain that, and it's important to you to show up in the really nice car and have the big house with the pool in the backyard, and
you're trying to
buy the round of drinks and
you're trying to live like a tourist as an expat. It's not going to work.
And it's not as fun. It's not as fun because you're not digging into the culture and figuring out what makes the locals tick and figuring out what they eat and how they live and what their history is. You're just moving your old life into a new country, and it's I don't know, it just seems a little empty to me, but some people do it, and all the power to them. I have no problem with that. What?
Nothing. I don't have any questions. I wasn't ready for this, but
so I think another fear some expats have, Kelly, is, can they find love over here? Is it true love, or is it all transactional? You've kind of hit on it. It's all about, I think, maybe letting things occur more naturally than trying to force them. On the first Saturday night you arrive. I'm not saying don't go out and have fun, don't go out and meet people. I'm just saying when you're looking for a relationship, like you said, I'll let you say it. What you're saying about that?
I'm not looking for a girlfriend, but some girl's looking for me.
I think that encapsulates this perfectly. if you kind of enjoy your life and live your life in a way that feels natural, and you're, you know, living in this new culture in a meaningful way, that stuff it just sort of flows naturally, doesn't it?
I think one of the biggest things on actually finding a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever is don't stay in your expat bubble. Okay, you know, the best way I feel is to, you know, befriend the locals, you know, and then you'll start getting invited to birthday parties, or well, maybe not birthday parties, but weddings, or hey, we're going to go out and do this or that. You know, going over for dinner, and you just happen to meet the guy's sister or something, whatever, and you're, hey, and you know, that's I think that's the best way actually to meet. But you know, hanging out down at the bar streets, no, that's not going to work. Like I said, you know, you don't have to go after the librarian, although I did date a librarian.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. Well, no, but I forgot. It was an extra meaning in what you were talking about, and I'm sorry. Sometimes it leaves.
Hey, it's autumn in Asia, right? It's not spring.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to the times where I'm publishing the same video every week, and I don't know. That should do good. Okay.
So there's something about Cambodia that I find unique in Southeast Asia. It's not completely unique, but
more prominently unique.
Yeah, it seems to, and it's kind of spoken in our surroundings right now. And it's this idea of sort of a peaceful, tranquil, quiet spirituality that's sort of integrated into everything, into life here. Almost, and it has an undiscovered aspect to it.
Yeah, I've talked about that, and that's like, there's a red flag there. It's like talking about you know, people's kids. Now, this in general, I got to preface it. This is my observations. This is my beliefs, and so it's not everybody. But when you have two different types of religions, Buddhism here and Christianity in most of the Western world, it's so different. Actually, it's not, but we won't get metaphysical. But people have a different way of thinking about things in the two different religions. If you want to call Buddhism a religion, it's more of a way of life, and the values that they hold on to, and I even think some of the things that they were taught as a child really sticks with them. And I know what I was taught, you know, in the Catholic Church. And you know, scared the hell out of me. And then I was not a child as a Buddhist, but so they just think differently. And with the spirituality, yeah, there's spirituality in the United States. Not saying there's not. There is. But what I see is I see the spirituality, and I feel the spirituality every day here. It's all the time. All the time. When you meet somebody along the street that you kind of know, you feel it, you know, because they give it to you, and then, you know, you try to give it back if you know how, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like 24/7 here. I see it all the time, you know. And that resonates in with people's respect for each other. And I can definitely get in trouble on this topic. So, but I think you know what I'm saying, huh?
Yeah, and I think there's some things that we can talk about, and there's some things that we have to experience. I think I would chalk that up to, if you come to Cambodia, or, you know, Vietnam or Thailand, it doesn't matter, or Europe or wherever, South America, everywhere has an undertone, a feeling about how people interact with each other. And there's no denying, it doesn't matter what you want to call the religion, but societies have, they have a tone to them, a feeling. And you could arrive as a Martian and go to different cultures and you'll feel different things. And I think Cambodia has a uniqueness in the peacefulness, tranquility, that translates to me sort of as a spirituality, regardless of who you're worshiping, that is unique in some ways, I think.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Buddhist to enjoy the peaceful spiritual feeling here in Cambodia and Vietnam, the other Buddhist areas, countries. If you can just kind of let down certain walls and try to accept and try to see through somebody else's eyes, try to get, why did they do that? Why did they feel that way? And it's an eye-opener. It really is. You got to drop your biases, and the world becomes a wonderful place.
Yeah, and almost no matter where you're born, Cambodia or Mexico or the United States or Russia, China, when you travel around the world, it's fun to listen more rather than to immediately try to speak your truth.
Yeah.
That's where you seem to learn more, at least I do, by listening more. I like to say I'm a student of the world rather than a teacher, and that both have their place. I'm not saying teachers are lovely, but I think when you travel, part of it is discovering who you are in a new place, and you do that by listening more than speaking. I know it's kind of simplistic sounding, but
well, we understand, Dan.
Yeah. So.
Well, you're doing something right.
Well, Kelly, you're doing something right too. I think you've got a great life here, and it's a beautiful place, Siem Reap is. It's definitely my favorite place in Cambodia.
Yeah.
And I've been all over Cambodia, and I've got reports all over Cambodia. Video. I have a playlist. I think there must be 30 or 40 videos.
Yeah, I've read them all. I've watched them all. Back during the COVID days.
And it's a lovely place. I really like this place. It's so I think you should feel fortunate that you ended up here. I mean, you did your homework, so you deserve it. But
well, I had a good teacher. No, he helped me out a lot. Yeah. Him and Jeremy and Claire from For Real, and Dave Does Cambodia, and several others that I watched from Cambodia that helped. And then my own Googling, what about this, what about that? Definitely got to do that. But
yeah, that's great.
Anyways.
So what have you been chatting about lately on autumn in Asia?
Did a couple of trips out in the villages. I think that was my last one. I can't remember. I'm working on A Day in the Life of now, kind of. Oh, that's probably the title. A Day in the Life of an Expat, kind of. It's not. Yeah. Anyways, but. I experiment with a lot of different things, a lot of different formats, and it's interesting. I did a community post, well, they call it post now or whatever, just recently, and I asked in the poll, what kind of channel do you think Autumn in Asia is? Because originally I started out as a travel channel because I was going to do a lot more traveling. Life happens, and that hasn't been able to happen. But and the majority of the people said that my channel is a lifestyle channel.
Oh.
That really surprised me. Not a vlog or no, a lifestyle channel. So I'm kind of thinking about, I don't know. You always got to grow. But like I said, I did a cost of living. I just some local things that happen around here. New Year's Eve, they just had the brand new huge fountain. I mean, this thing is crazy huge. Goes up. I was up on the 4th floor of a building, and it was going up past that in the river. And
wow.
just things. Sometimes we'll go out to Vanna's Village, and I'll do something out there. You know, once you've been doing videos in a town, in a city or whatever for like 3 years, the hardest part to make another video is to figure out what the hell am I going to do next week, you know?
Yeah, when you get far enough along, you start to realize, wait a second, I have people now coming on and watching. They didn't see what I did 3 years ago.
I'm working on that too.
Eventually, you can just start back at the beginning and work your way through again, and just give a new twist on the same information.
Yeah, Dave does Cambodia, and I were just talking about that a couple of nights ago, and I said, yeah, you know, it's okay to repurpose some of your old stuff, because, like, for instance, myself, you know, a year ago, I had 4,000 less subscribers, you know, and I can get away with that, you know. So, okay, that 1,000 that I had, I've already seen it, but hey, you know, I mean, so it's okay. And even the big boys and girls that talk about something, you know, how to get 1,000 subscribers in 2024, they just changed the title, and they've owned up to that. How to make 10, you know, get 1,000 subscribers in 2025. Put a different thumbnail on it, and boom, there you go.
Same video.
I think they might change it and upgrade it a little bit, but the premise will be the same.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll use the same charts or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, I've thought of doing a throwback Thursdays or something, where I just take an old video and say, if you're wondering how bad I used to be, here's what video I did 5 years ago, and stuff like that. Yeah, you want to be upfront about it, but it can be fun. I mean, people that go back and watch my old videos once in a while will say, wow, you really improved.
Oh, yeah? Friends do lie. Okay. All right, my butt's getting sore here.
You got a sore butt? All right. Well, Kelly,
did you cover everything?
I think so. No, I never cover everything.
Okay.
Thank God we'd be out of jobs. Put her there.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Go over to Autumn in Asia and see what Kelly's up to.
Yes, and remember, if you're still here, you know you're my #1 fans. You too, up there.
See you later.
Bye.
All right.